And we are live. How's it going, everybody? I'll wait for some people to show up and then we'll get started with today's spoilers. One of the more exciting things about Magic the Gathering is just being able to relax and have some fun. Just opened a nice cold beer. Got a lot of cool reprints to go over, mostly reprints, because this whole Jumpstart thing for Magic the Gathering, it's going to be like a 500 card set. So most of it, you're going to see a lot of reprints of good cards too. Some pretty good stuff. Now, there's a lot to go over. I mean, a lot of the decks were spoiled. Well, not necessarily decks, but the 20 card packs. A lot of these cards were spoiled. This is yesterday. We went over these Thriving Lands. But we get some reprints. You see mostly, this is what is called as the Jumpstart Rainbow. So this is filled with cards that I guess are just good for 5 colors. I don't think there's anything new here, except for maybe the Chamber Sentry. And then we saw this card yesterday, Nayef of the Dire Hunt. Here, let me full screen this for people. There we go. We got Ryan Walker in the house. How's it going? So Nayef of the Dire Hunt, if you don't remember from yesterday, whenever one or more creatures you control fights or becomes blocked, you get to draw a card. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to pay 3 mana, one of it being hybrid red-green. And if you do, you double target creature's power until end of turn. And that creature must be blocked this combat if able. And that was, by the way, the Garruk deck. So it's going to be probably mono green, maybe green black, depending on what kind of Garruk we want to see this time. I think, was it green black? That was for Throne of Eldraine, M15. That was that little storyline. I think he's supposed to be good now. But yeah, it's not just random. They don't just randomly assign colors. It's depending on, what they're doing, what the characters are doing. I don't necessarily pay attention to it that much. But we see here, we get more reprints here. Young Pyromancer, very good card. This is for the Jumpstart Chandra. And if you've ever used dual decks, if you've ever played with any of these, you'll see a lot of similar cards. Garruk has his own cards. He has like Garruk's Pack Leader. Chandra has a Pyromancer, so a young Pyromancer, not necessarily Chandra herself, obviously. But you get... I've always seen young Pyromancer with Chandra-themed stuff. You know what I mean? Or just red in general. Jumpstart Dogs, we get a very cool reprint of Isamaru, Hound of Kanda. Now, this is interesting because the errata, or not errata, what did they do? I guess it is errata. For the Hound name, they replaced Hound with Dog. I guess Dog Tribal sounds better than Hound Tribal, but that's, just in case if you wanted to use a... he is a 2/2 legendary dog, so not something you obviously want to have too many of, but not a bad card for Commander. Believe it or not, there's a lot of decent Voltron decks for 1-drop commanders. I personally don't like them that much, but, we do get a new card here that is very dog-specific, which is Release the Dogs. Obviously new because they changed the Hound thing to dog. So you create 4 1/1 white dog creature tokens for 4 mana. So that's pretty standard. A lot of these token producers, it's going to give you 1/1/1 for each mana that you pay. So it's decent, but, it's not going to be super overpowered. So we have Jumpstart Reanimate. And this is, filled with cards that we've already seen before. We've seen Reanimate from yesterday. We've seen Gravewaker, Mire Triton, Thriving More from yesterday, so that's not really new. Probably going to just be a graveyard deck, or 20 cards for the graveyard deck if you want to make it. And we have Jumpstart Discard. Also, all cards that we've seen from yesterday. Tiny Bones, Trinket Thief. One of the more interesting looking cards, if you want to make more of a discard themed deck. Even outside of Jumpstart, if you want to make a commander deck that's kind of like the old rack decks, you can do that. So we have Jumpstart Witches, which is love how that worked out. Which is pretty cool. We have the obvious Bogbrew Witch, Bubbling Cauldron, Festering Newt. That's super flavorful. Even though Bogbrew Witch isn't actually a witch, a human wizard. We have a human warlock, but witch isn't a creature type itself, which is something that I think, again, there I go with the witch, but it's something that they could have done here if they changed hound to dog. You could also give us new cards like a witch creature type. That would be pretty cool, but it's not really necessary. Some of these other cards here, like Swarm of Bloodflies, Malakir Familiar, and I don't really get the flavor there. I get the Cauldron Familiar. It's Cauldron again. Bake into a pie that's even flavorful. What was it? Hansel and Gretel. Is that where that story's from? I don't know. So that's the Jumpstart Witches, if you guys care about that. We have Jumpstart Tree Hugging. So is this going to be the name of the pack? Tree Huggers? We have Verdant Embrace. I think we've seen the Verdant auras before. I don't know if this is a reprint. It probably is, with just different art. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has at the beginning of each upkeep create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Nothing too crazy. And we get the awesome cards in Commander, Soul of the Harvest and Primordial Sage, benefiting off of cast triggers, benefiting off of ETBs. Just getting that extra card draw is always sweet. You also get some tree folk here. You have Ambassador Oak, and then you do get a Wall of Blossoms, which is very solid, very underrated cards. Just walls that draw you a card when they enter. You get 4 toughness, which is pretty solid. And probably the coolest one already is Jumpstart Vampires. So we get a reprint, a very, very awesome reprint of Exquisite Blood. This is a card I think a lot of people wanted to get reprinted. For a while, it's been at least a $20 card. And it's very powerful with the combos. There's Sanguine Bond, and then there's cards that do what Sanguine Bond does. And there's just a million of those. There's only one Exquisite Blood. At least to my knowledge. I've been away for 5 months. But yeah, that seems to be pretty much the case. It's just one Sanguine or Exquisite Blood, and then at least 10 different Sanguine Bond-like abilities. So let me take a break to say hi to the chat, just for people that showed up. Go Oilers. I hope the price of Behemoth goes down. So that is Craterhoof Behemoth. And we're going to see that in a little bit. Hey, Void, good to see that you're making content again. Thank you so much, Fox. Great and Tiny Leaders. Yes, definitely. That was Isamaru. I don't play Tiny Leaders. I don't know too many people that do. Yep, remember Tiny Leaders? I remember. That's the thing. I wanted something like Tiny Leaders to work so badly, because I think we all love Commander, but the reason why we love Commander is that it's an escape from what everyone else is doing, and we've had Commander for so long, and a lot of what people liked about Commander was the obscurity in comparison. It's a singleton format, which for some people it's so weird. It's not so much weird anymore. I think a lot of people are used to it. Like they planned that reprint with Vito. I don't know who that is. It was like Legacy and Commander. Yeah. Tiny Leaders. I know what Tiny Leaders is. But again, it's like one of those things. It didn't work because it's so easy to break that format. Only like a couple decks just absolutely dominate it, and everything else is pretty casual. There's not really a decent mix. But yeah, this is the Vampire Jumpstart. So you get some pretty solid reprints. You get Drana, Liberator of Malakir. You get some very solid ones here, like Gifted Aetherborn, which is like a mini Vampire Nighthawk, Falcon Wrath Noble, and Blood Artist in the same deck. You can have them both. That's pretty sweet. Very powerful cards. We get Child of Night, the newer artwork. It's kind of sad to see some like that artwork for Child of Night. That the previous one had been around for such a long time, and then they changed it. It's like with what's the card? Diabolic Tutor, where it's just a guy whispering into a skull. And here we have Jumpstart Laboratory. Don't necessarily know the theme of this, but we have a Riptide Laboratory. This is a card that's really important to reprint. Because, I mean, it hadn't been... It's not... What am I looking for? For a long time, it hadn't been reprinted from, like, Onslaught. And people who wanted to play something like Azami, Lady of Scrolls, you needed something like this just in case, because she could be a real pain in the ass to have to recast over and over again. She starts out at 5 mana, but she is very important for your strategy. And if you lose her, and if you're not able to protect her, you could be screwed out of a game. And the same thing goes for other wizards too. You're not really going to win out in combat. So if you're able to just bounce a wizard back to your hand and replay it the following turn, that's a lot better than having to pay a commander tax. But I don't think Tolerant's Invocation, I don't think this is a new card, but I haven't seen it before. You create 2 blue Drake creature tokens with flying. It might be a reprint, but it looks has a similar art style too. Oh, it's done by the same artist. Yeah, I think this isn't a reprint. But we have Tolerant Sky Summoner. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Very strong card for commander. I mean, actually, as a commander himself, very underrated. May not seem like it, but you cast a lot of instants and sorceries in blue, and in commander, you can have a ton of cantrips and return those cantrips to your hand, recast them. A lot of stuff that can keep your turn going and net you a lot of drakes. Now, this is Jumpstart Lance, which is probably going to be a lot of people's favorites. Lance strategies are pretty aggressive. You know, you can get the ball rolling really quickly. We get 2 decent reprints. Ulvenwald Hydra, which is just a land tutor on a creature. Very good because it can be any land. And then Oracle of Moldiah, probably one of the top reprints that I've seen, if not the very, very top reprint. Oracle of Moldiah, you get an additional land drop on each of your turns, and then you play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play land cards from the top of your library. One of the best cards in Commander, as far as green goes, at least. Definitely important that we got that. Jumpstart Lightning. We don't have every card yet, and just one by one, it seems to be that we're seeing these cards. So I don't think, I mean, there's 20 cards per pack. So there's 17 more that we haven't seen. So this doesn't look super interesting, but we have a Lightning Phoenix, Flying Haste, can't block. And it's like all the other Phoenixes, they come back. It's a Phoenix thing. We have Jumpstart Archaeology, which seems to be similar to the Laboratory one. It's just another mono blue one, but this time it looks like there's an emphasis on artifacts. Vidalcan Archmage, or Archmage, however you want to pronounce that. Very solid reprint. Scarecrow, believe it or not, is a needed reprint. It's not a card that I think a lot of people know about, but it's because the whole Scarecrow thing is pretty, I don't know, it's pretty out there. Not a lot of people look them up. But Scarecrow is good, not just in Scarecrow decks, but if you need a solid sack outlet, or if you have a way to bring back Scarecrow, I think what's the deck? The white bird that can bring creatures back, CMC 3 or less. That's a very good commander. Scholar of the Lost Trove. I think this is a new one. It's hard to tell. but I'm just going to click on it anyway. Why isn't there a larger text? Okay, I'll just read it off here. When Scholar of the Lost Trove enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant sorcery or artifact card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If an instant or sorcery spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So it's a larger... It's just a Snapcaster Mage with the benefit of also doing it for artifacts. And there's no flash, so it's obviously a bit worse. Yeah, it's solid, but I mean, 7 mana. It's probably going to just be a commander card. And I mean, 40 card, limited. I guess you could make it work. Not super thrilled about it. Here we have Jumpstart Seismic. Now, Grim Lavamancer is a good reprint, but I don't think there's really anything else here that's noteworthy. Just a bunch of reprints. We have Jumpstart Walls. Now, this is pretty cool. I don't know how this is going to be super powerful in like a 40-card environment, but we have a Towering Titan, which isn't a wall itself, but I guess it interacts with defenders or walls. When it enters the battlefield with X, it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total toughness of other creatures you control. You can sack a creature with Defender. All creatures gain trample until end of turn. So you do have ways of getting more power there. And this next one is Jumpstart Well Read. Yeah, right away we already know what this is about. We have a legendary Sphinx, Armos Archive Keeper. This looks really cool. I love that artwork. 6 mana flyer. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, instead put 5 +1/+1 counters on Ormos. And then you can pay 3 mana to discard 3 cards with different names to draw 5 cards. So that's, it's perfect for Commander. Obviously, the singleton format thing works in its favor. And you can draw 5 cards, which is better than your average loot ability. And, we have a Ristic Study reprint, which it's been a while since that got reprinted. I think, what was it, back in Commander's Arsenal? Commander Arsenal, whatever you want to call it. I mean, obviously, I think everybody knows about the card. I don't have to explain it. And we have Jumpstart Dinosaurs. So we get a card here from M21 that got reprinted, Primal Might. And another big reprint here, Sylvala, Heart of the Wilds from Conspiracy 2. Very sought after. I mean, it's a highly sought after card. And a lot of those green decks, it doesn't really seem to matter whether it's dinosaurs here or just good green decks in general. You could really... I know a lot of people, they go the Hydra route because mana sinks are good. And a lot of Hydras are mana sinks. And we have... I don't know what this one... This one's unnamed for now, I guess. Or I guess these are just generic reprints that we don't really know where they go yet. But we have Ravenous Bailiff. You can sack a beast to gain 4 life. Phyrexian Tower, reprinted again. We have Rise of the Dark Realms. Awesome reprint. Very deadly card in Commander. And Ghoul Color Giza from Commander 2014. Very, very memorable. I think I started watching a lot of Magic YouTubers around the time Commander 2014 came out. That's personally, I think I came in before with Commander 2013, but I know a lot of people that got started in Commander 2014. I know it's weird to feel nostalgic about something that was only 6 years ago, but what can I say? And then we have another good reprint, Hut Behemoth. Already been reprinted before, but, people love the card. It's an easy win con. We also get an Elvish Archdruid reprint. But we get a new card here. We get Allosaurus Shepherd. Can't be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered. And you can pay 6 mana, 2 of it being green. Until end of turn, each elf creature you control has base power and toughness 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other creature types. That is so cool because then you can blend it in with the dinosaur. If you want to mash two packs together, you get elves and you get dinos. So you can make an elf dino deck. I imagine there's a lot of weird synergies like that. But this is just a very solid card. I mean, I would expect to see this in elf decks everywhere. Especially just really solid mono green elf decks. You can really take advantage of that. Let me take a break here and look at the chat just to say hi. Just to say hi to some people. Yeah, new vampires in M21. Got the Exquisite Blood reprint. Very good. Way too expensive. That's why we want reprints, right? Ooh, not everybody's on the same page here. I like it when we get a dissenting opinion. Yeah, Oracle of Medea hadn't been reprinted in a while. Got the Ristic study. Yeah, mystery boosters. I don't know. The thing about it, it's just one of those things. I don't. When you have every card that you can get, with the exception of the reserve list ones, I don't know if the mystery booster thing to me, it's hard to really consider that like a set because it's so randomized. I'm reading it. I can read chat. Yeah, it is hard. I can read the cards and then take a break every now and then. Yeah, here's the thing. Try to read the chat while playing Arena. Like have to get someone else to help me out. I full screen this just so I can read it. Just to see. And I think that's it. Jumpstart Elves. Yep, just about it. So now I can give my full attention to the chat. How's it going? Yeah, I like the reprints. I think it's solid. I mean, what are you going to do about them reprinting everything that's not on the reserve list? It was going to happen every now and then. Got Wheel Tactics. How's it going? Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap it up here soon. Yeah, second monitor, that's the thing. It's like I just started doing the whole live stream. I'm probably going to invest in probably another monitor just so I can keep track of the chat and all that stuff. But I'm only one person too. That's another thing. If I'm reading the cards, I just want to keep reading them. And then I'll take a break and read the chat. There's really not that many people here. Maybe if it became like a bigger thing, I'd get someone else to help me, or I'll get someone else, invite them onto a stream, and they can bring up people in the chat just in case. I had a thing going with my buddy MTG Myth, and he was doing something like that. Yeah, I want more information about how the set works with all the reprints. I think I'm probably going to get Jumpstart over M21. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you if you had like we have like so many reprints. I usually get 400 people on my arena streams, and I read the chat in real time. By the way, why did you block my main account? That's not very nice. I don't think I blocked your main account. Oh, Desolator Magic. I don't know. I have to look. I block people for weird reasons. Ooh, super chat here. $20. Will Tactics. Stopping by, showing love. Keep it up, bro. Thank you so much. I can unblock you if you want. Again, it's been a long time, so I don't remember everybody. So I'm assuming this is on YouTube. I can go look up right now just to see. Um, does this be comments or community? Probably community tab. Yeah. Okay. Settings, community. Oh, I have a few mods. No, that's not mods. I usually like because back in the day I just block people. I don't see you blocked. Oh, actually, no. There you are. Okay. So yeah, Desolator Magic. I unblocked you. Yeah, I recognize the avatar. I can't even open my block list in a browser without using 10 gigabytes of RAM because I blocked over 3,000 jerks. I think I had like 30 people. I had like 30 people blocked, and I just remember blocking people. Uh, God. Oh, because I remember Desolator. You were a guy. You're very aggressive. So you might have cussed me out one time. We have DJ Vinyl. I'm definitely going to do more streams covering spoilers. Thanks, Doc. You're like the other Commander YouTubers, except actually good. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, because I stopped watching a lot of other YouTubers back in 2018. I just did my own thing. But I remember guys like what's his name, MTG Purple. I really liked him. Really liked was it the Mana Source, Wedge, and then he stopped showing his face on camera or something, and he stopped making content. I like watching a lot of people, but it's just, it's hard to really stay interested, and people naturally lose interest. We have Go Oilers. I would watch the heck out of new top 10 videos from you, Void, just saying. Yeah, I really think, I really think it's interesting. Going back, I mean, people still watch those older videos, but it would be harder for me to do. It would take more time. It wouldn't be hard, but it would take more time. Like I think if you go through a lot of these videos and you see a lot of people that are just you have all these images and it's overlaid and it could take, a while. Also, if you go through and you edit the audio, if you go through and you edit the audio just to make it sound because obviously I'm not perfect. I stutter sometimes. And for those top 10 videos, I tried to make it as professional as possible. Let's see. Will Tactics. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. I kind of want to build a mutate deck around Vadrock Apex of Thunder. Yeah, again, like I've been gone for like 5 months, so I have to really look into the whole mechanics that I missed out on. So we have mutate. I'm gonna go through with like Ikoria, all that stuff. Uh, Even going back to the Theros set, which I kind of that's really where I left. I really left us on the whole like Theros Beyond Death. That's the set. His fans legit bullied him off of YouTube by constantly saying crap about his looks and clothes and stuff, which didn't help Wedge's anxiety issues. I remember him just like losing his cool on people on Twitter, which is why I left Twitter. I couldn't handle that place. Uh, it's really the place if you want to argue with people all day, then go make a Twitter account. But I've been hesitant to do it, even though I know it could probably help channel growth by interacting with more people, sharing out the links to my streams. It's not worth it. Like the number one things that trend on Twitter, it's all politics. So naturally, you're going to have a divisive place. Yeah, there's only like 15 actual playable mutate creatures. It's not that many, so it would be pretty easy to catch up. Yeah, it's a war zone. It's pretty messed up. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm probably gonna do one tomorrow if we get more spoilers tomorrow, if we get more reprints tomorrow. Uh, but yeah, definitely. I'm glad I could settle the blocking thing with you, Tessa, later. Yeah, I don't really hold grudges with anybody, especially people I haven't really interacted with for in a while. And I like to get to know a lot of people again. I remember I remember having like a chat with what's his name? MTG Purple, my catcher, a long time ago. That guy was he was a ton of fun. But that's what I remember. Oh, thank you so much. Alrighty, guys, take it easy. I'm gonna head on out.